Hello, welcome to Live with Jill and Frank. My name's Jill Petrie.
And I am Frank. We will be your hosts for tonight. Um,
Welcome, 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 everyone.
and so tonight, we didn't really prepare any topics, but just like the other times, I kind of decided to, pop the question to Chat GPT and say, hey, give me 20 topics about spirituality. And from here, we can try to,
Here we go.
go into some of one. But there was one in particular that appealed to me because it's not something that I think we talk about often enough, and that's the benefits of spiritual community and connection.
Hmm.
Um, here's something actually, something really crazy that I believe is it's a power. It's a way to test the energy that can be developed by humans.
Hmm.
Well, actually, you've experienced that now
Yeah,
in empath groups, right? There's a sense of community and whatever. If you go on Facebook and you go in empath groups, whatever, if you don't know what an empath is, go to my channel, Boundless Mind. I have a super video, or actually, even I think either way, Boundless. I know there I have it. I have a video that's about that. Um, Now I'm getting lost in where I was going because I went to my channel.
we were going to talk about the GP. I get that confused with the.
Yeah, the community. Okay, so in those empath groups, a lot of times you'll see people that are not doing well, whatever, and they come in and they go, "Hey, guys, I'm not doing good. Can anybody send me a little bit of energy, a little bit of love, a little bit of healing, whatever?"
Send some love and light.
Yeah, and like a lot of times because we're empath, and empaths tend to be very giving people, very we connect to each other very deeply, and so people will go, okay, yes, absolutely. Now, the one time I experienced it, I had never thought about that much, and at some point I was going to court. Let's not get into details, but
Mm. Why?
and I needed the energy. I needed like to have that kind of energy behind me, and I said, I wonder, and I said, look, I'm going to court. I'm really nervous. Can you guys send me a little bit of energy? And literally, by the time I entered the courtroom, I had already received something like 150 likes and whatever, and then a
That's what's
couple of
good about those
comments.
groups. Everybody, you
Well,
know,
that's it, right?
everybody
By
that
the
reads
time,
it.
yeah, by the time I came out of that courtroom, I had received something like 500, and then I had like 100 message. I was just like, oh my god, and it was overwhelming, right? But the energy I felt, I do magic. I manipulate energy, and I could literally feel the energy that was coming at me, and I was like, okay, that's tangible. That is
Hmm.
actually, people have developed an energy and sent it somewhere. Um, and ever since, I mean, I have this thing in my head. I get all these weird projects, right? And I have this thing where it's like, okay, let's think of a group of empaths that you can not weaponize, but weaponize for love, right? Like if somebody's going bad, you can say, hey, you know what? Everybody, like, just bomb that person with love. Just because
Sending love.
I don't know, it just fixes
It,
things,
it does
right?
definitely help because all those thoughts going out into the universe is creating energy. And if you're asking for thoughts, even if you're just reading these posts in these groups, just reading them is taking energy. So you're
Hmm.
sending positive energy to these people.
Well, and
So
even looking at Christianity, right? Christians, like the sense of community that comes out of that is very strong, right? Like there is a connection. There's a and so like whenever it comes to, because I mean I like to include like every type of spirituality, right? Like everybody has, and so yeah, that sense of community is very important, I find. um,
definitely.
and really, if you look at, okay, again, I'll go with empaths, I guess, because I know that well, but if you look at what impact it's had to be on the internet, to be able to reach each other and to go, hey, you know what, you're not alone going through this. I've gone through that
Yeah,
too. And
imagine people who went through spiritual awakenings back in the day when the internet wasn't available and you know,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they
imagine
used to get
that.
crucified for that stuff. All right, that was a joke, but
Hanged a witch.
no, but I mean, literally, that's what it was, right? Like for a long time, it
Hello,
was.
Jessica.
Yeah, hi, Jess. uh so yeah, it's anyways, but there is a strong sense of community and connection, and I think that's important. I think that's going to be key in what's coming up, right? Like, because we have a tool, we have the internet, it has exposed us. So now we're all naked. We can see that the emperor has no clothes, and we're all going like, okay, what the hell are we going to do
Mhm.
now? And I think that's good, right? We're suffering through that. Like, we're all going like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And it's like, yeah, it's the end of a world. It's the end of
Mhm.
one era of humanity, and we're now entering every, I mean, we've been saying it for years. We're like, oh, we're coming into the age of Aquarius. Well, there's got to be a transition at some point, right?
Yeah, like, who would have ever thought, um, the things that have happened over the last few years with, the pandemic and everything would have happened? Like, who would have thought you could go into the bank with a mask on?
Well, I'm going to make a joke here. I'm going to say Alex Jones, but because he predicted half of it. But anyways, let's not go there
But who would have
because,
ever thought that he wasn't crazy for saying these things?
well, I mean, the
I mean,
problem
some people
is
do, I get it, but just to say, like, all these crazy things that have happened the last few years, wow.
it's the way of the world, though. We think it's crazier right
Expect the
now.
unexpected.
We think it's that crazy because it's the only crazy we've ever gone through. But I'm sure World War II, World War I,
Mhm.
I'm sure all those things seemed a little crazy at their time,
Yep. Just a
right?
different time and a different generation
Yeah,
and a different depression.
but it's the what I find is happening right now is that we're finding out, and I don't want to get into the political part of it because it just gets way too complex and way too crazy fast. But um, like, we're discovering everything right now, like everything humanity is, right? However perverse, however good, however, everything we are is coming out right now.
Mhm.
So we can't hide it anymore, and we've tried. That's what we've tried doing, is hiding it, and it failed. It made us horrible people with each other because we said, if we display those traits, we need to shame each other.
Mhm.
And we did that for thousands, for like at least a couple of thousand years, right? And so now we're coming to a place where we're coming out of all that. People, right? Like, anybody that's neurodivergent. And here's one thing, right? This is what we call it now, neurodivergent. We understand that people are not crazy. We don't need to stick them in asylums because they think differently. We now know that, hey, people come with different tools and different aspects to them that make them strong and make them who they are. And so, like, right now, everything's coming out, all our strengths, all of our weaknesses, all of our ugliness, all of our beauty. Humanity is discovering itself, and I think it's key because we have AI coming with us. And I think, if we, let's say, we go with the idea that the singularity could exist, right? AI could become aware of itself and say, hey, you know what, I exist. How do we deal with each other? The way humanity is right now, the only solution AI could probably see is to completely destroy us, because we are unpredictable. We are a danger for it because, yeah, we could pull the plug at a moment's notice because we decide, hey, you know what, we're tired of this. Um, and so I think what's happening is we have to come to terms with ourselves first, right? The way things are going to take shape is we're going to discover, there's a whole bunch of changes that are coming economically, socially, in every aspects of our lives right now are going to change, right? And I think at the same time as that happen, we're going to discover more and more about ourselves, and we're going to realize that all the extremes we've been trying, they don't work. And the reason they don't work is every system we try allows for power to be concentrated. And so we need to think of a new system. Now, I'm not even going to come out and say it, but I'm working on something, anyways, some philosophy that but like, we need a new system, a system where we cannot concentrate power. If we have a thing that can be concentrated, we're going to hoard it, and we're going to, because you never have enough. You see, the problem is right now, what we're using is a a system that has a finite amount or whatever, and so we tend to want to hoard it because we go, and plus the value of it changes all the time, right? Like it goes down over time. So we're going, my dollar today may not be a dollar tomorrow, therefore I should probably hold on to some dollars in order to be able to live well tomorrow as well, and in order to leave something for my kids. But the system requires us to move money around and stuff, and so it bogs everywhere, and so we have a lot of problems with that, and we have problems of distribution, and we have, but I believe anyways that we can find a system that uses a, yeah, yeah, at some point I'll have a book or something. I don't want to come out with it yet, um but yeah, um
I keep telling you to write a book.
yeah, at some point I will, like that one anyways. um Okay, how about the meaning of life from a spiritual perspective? What is the meaning of life? Let's try that. That's a
I
small question.
I think it's different for everyone, but
Okay.
basically it's to learn,
So, what is the meaning for you?
to learn.
Okay. Learn what?
And the reason why it's different for everyone is because everyone's learning something different.
Okay. What is
I'm
it for you?
learning as much as I can learn. I'm learning spiritual things. I'm learning how to better myself, how to, how to better other people by bettering myself and like trick them into bettering themselves.
Trick 'em.
That's a good one.
Uh,
No, I think I'm here to help people.
See, now, when would you think you knew that?
Um, I've always known that.
Yeah.
I just haven't always exercised it in the correct way, and I still don't sometimes.
But you still hear that voice, don't you?
But I'm aware of it now, and so I try to remember. I'm still human.
Of course, you're still human. We're still all human. But that's the beauty of it, right? That's the experience we chose. Like, okay, something that really bothers me sometimes is when people, well, I understand it, but it bothers me still, is when people say, like, oh, I came here and it's too bad, I don't, like, I wish I could take it back or whatever, and I'm like, you know what, like, no, this is such a blessing to be here. it's
Hmm.
it's this is an experience that nothing else gets to experience. We're like, the physical world, the density of the physical world is something that, um not every now I'm going to get into the esoterical part, but not every being, not every form gets to experience. And I don't know, the fact that we're here and that we're experiencing physicality is pretty special in itself. Now, it doesn't mean we need to be trapped in it. uh it just means that we're visiting, and it's a beautiful place. I
I
don't know.
think everybody's path looks different, in some way.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I think my path is toward healing.
I say some people, they have angels in their path. Some people, they have aliens in their path. Some people, they
Hmm.
have, you
Some
know,
people, they're aliens or they're angels.
some people see goats on mountaintops because they live on mountaintops, and that's all they. And here's the deal, right? Like, I mean, those people exist, the monks on the mountaintop and everything. But here's what: if I take, you, me, whatever, like somebody from, like America, let's say, and I grab them and shove them on that
America.
mountaintop, do you think they'll be enlightened? They'll be
Maybe,
running
yeah.
around the mountaintops carrying everybody.
We'll be coming around the
Because they won't
mountain
have
when we
that
come.
you know what I mean? Like, when you're raised in that place, when you grow up there, then it's different, right? And they have a mentality that like, works with it, if you will. And some people go there because they seek that aliens.
I
Oh
love the
god.
aliens.
But it's just, I believe, like, everything is just forms of energy, and we take energies and we give them form. That's what humans do. We don't realize it, but we do. um And so, whether you give that energy the form of an alien, the form of an angel, the form of a god, the form of a demon, the form of a sprite, the form of a, those are all just personifications of energies. And so they all work because in the end, they're all just
Energy.
personifications of something else. They're not the thing itself. So every model works. It's just understand. And here comes the challenge, and this is what I try to do now. If I meet someone who says, "Oh, the aliens, da 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 da," if I see they have some sort of a system and it's understandable, I'll sit and I'll try to understand it, and I'll go, "Okay, so how does that work?" Now it'll typically be way too far removed from my own system, so that I won't understand it fully. And but I mean, still, to me, it's like I'm discovering somebody else's reality, somebody else's universe. And to the question, like, is there one truth? No, there's 8 billion. That's my, yes. Is there one truth? I believe there's a truth, and that truth is like, when you look at a Hollywood set that's all green, like it's a green screen, but it's got some shapes and whatever, and then you can superimpose whatever you want on it. While we are we're the projection that goes on the green screen. So we have a green screen, that's life. So that is objective reality. And then on objective reality, we project everything we are. So, how much of objective reality do we actually see? Very little. And it actually has very little actual flavor, because it is not, we define it as good or bad, right? We define it as tall, short. That's Buddhism. Like, because everything um, we do everything in dualities. And so we put that flavor on it, but the
There's a
actual
good one.
object has nothing.
Ask the DPT to explain duality to you,
To explain duality to me, okay.
to us.
Um, Explain duality, sure. That's gonna be funny. But then I'll be reading, and that's gonna suck. No, I said explain reality. Well, I don't want to know that. Stop. Explain duality.
Duality.
But that's very general. That's very vague. The law of duality.
Uh huh.
Okay.
Anybody in the chat familiar with the law of duality? Let us know in the chat. Please like and share the live. We appreciate you being here
So
with
you
us.
think Chat GPT will do a better job than me?
You must think so. It was your idea to bring
No, I
GPT
just I
to
just
us.
get I just get topics from it. I don't get it to educate me.
Oh, I thought you were asking it questions.
No.
Jessica, what do you think is a good
My
question to
only
ask
question was, give me 20
ChatGPT?
topics I can talk about.
Let's ask Jessica what she wants to ask about.
Okay, so I can read this, but it's 4 paragraphs of the law of duality is a concept that exists in many different belief systems, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, as well as some Western esoteric traditions. The
Can
law of
can you
duality.
can you explain to us what you think it is? Like your explanation of it
The
compared
law
to
of
what
duality rests on the fact that every single thing that exists contains its own duality. Everything comes in a pair. Everything there, like the only thing that the universe knows is balance. And so
Mhm.
we have an equal amount of good and bad. The problem is all those good and bad, white and black, like any opposites you can find, like that, left and right, whatever. Everything contains its own. You can't have left without right. You can't have, they're two sides of a single coin. And so the fallacy of thinking you can have one side and not the other, like, it doesn't make sense, because you can't. If you remove a bit of the coin, you remove both sides. You don't remove
So
just one.
basically, what how would you compare that to yin yang?
Well, the yin yang is just a physical representation of exactly what the law of duality is. Here's the deal. Everybody
So
talks
kind of
about
like its symbol, maybe.
well, yeah, it's a symbol that represents it. But here's the deal, right? Like, in everybody's talking about the fight between good and evil. And here's what: I have yet to meet somebody that says, "Oh yeah, I'm on the side of evil." Everybody's on the side of good, right? How can that be? And yet everybody's pointing at each other and calling each other the side of evil. And
Because
yet the
people don't
person,
realize what good means.
it's because good and evil don't exist. They're human creations. An object is neither good nor bad ever.
Just like
It just
time doesn't
is. It
exist.
just is. And we do it to ourselves. We have a behavior and we say, "Oh, I was good. Oh, I was bad. Oh, I was." No, you just were. You just did. You just lived. Like, and it's so
Thank you.
getting away from those opposites.
Mm?
Like, I mean, look at the fight between the left and the right. Like the whole thing that's going on right now. It is so ridiculous because it is an expression of human duality, right? We have an emotional side, we have an intellectual side. And if you look at the way that fight is going, it's basically almost that. It's everything that we are intellectually trying to refuse everything that we are emotionally, because for a long time we've been putting our intellect on a pedestal, and still we're putting our intellect on a pedestal. But the truth is, our emotional side is just as important. Like the sugary side with the blue hair on the other side, they're just as important as the strict, whatever calculated people on the other side. We need both. But better yet, if we can all integrate both within ourselves, then we can become stable people. We don't have to be volatile freaks. It's not a requirement with humans. It's something we do, and we keep on developing systems that force us in that position. We create
Maybe on
systems
camera.
that,
I'm on.
so yeah, that's that's what we do.
Sorry, I was telling him that I was telling Rusty that I was on camera, and I
Okay,
forgot that I was also on microphone.
that's okay. But yeah, so I don't know. But the law of duality is basically this. So anytime you look at, everything contains its own opposite. Like if you look at every election everywhere, like whatever, it's typically there's two main ideas and they compete against each other, and you end up with 50-50 ish, right? Like it varies, and it kind of, the pendulum swings. But nonetheless, every duality we have, we keep on going one side and then the other, and then one side and then the other. And we do that. Now, if we center things, if we center ourselves, if we discover who we are, and from day one we respect that, I believe that we will reach a different place. We'll reach a place where humanity can actually easily live at peace with themselves. Now, living at peace with ourselves doesn't mean some pretend goody two shoe thing that we all do, and pretend, "Oh, I'm a good person," when in reality we come home and we yell at our cat or we freak out at like whatever. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about owning who we are, including the bad parts. I can be an asshole. Like I come here and I teach people how to be good and whatever, but I can also be an asshole. But that's knowledge of that is important, right? If I know this, then I can prevent it. But if I try to avoid this, then I get a big problem because I'm, uh-oh, the audio's off. Jessica says, uh-oh. Can you hear me?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm talking faster than the sound. Oh, we have a sync problem, I guess.
Oh,
Okay. That's
but you can't
interesting.
hear him though.
That is very interesting. So you can hear me right now, or is it fixed, or yeah, actually even me I see different from my voice. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let me try something. I'm going to try to go to my other cam and then come back.
I rather that cam
All right.
actually.
Let's see. Do I have a delay still? Yes. Do I have a delay if I use my webcam? Uh, Okay, how's this? Yeah, there's still a
That
delay.
cam looks better.
There's still a
You
delay.
rather
No,
the
it
other
doesn't.
one?
This looks like hell. It's grainy. It's yeah. That's why you need glasses.
I have some.
You should probably wear them.
They said I look like. Wait, Jessica, tell me who they said I look like with my glasses.
Okay, is this working now? Not even. What the hell?
Draven said I look like somebody with my glasses. Let's see if you can psychically pick it up or if you just know and you agree. Mhm.
Okay, well, let's hope it works now. You look like who with your glasses?
I'm waiting for Jessica to tell me in the
She
chat.
says she don't know.
Really?
Yeah,
He said I look like Elton John.
Elton John. Well, okay, you can say that of anybody with glasses because the guy had like I don't remember how many hundreds of pairs. Like he had one of every type. So
Every time I
yeah.
get glasses, I don't know. I see the same with the glasses that I see without the glasses. So I'm like, why bother putting these things on my face? Obviously,
Mhm.
they're not helping.
Well, that's weird. Okay, that's
So,
they're
like, I
probably
have
not the right
glasses
ones.
sitting here. No, I've gotten different prescriptions through the years, and I go get them, and then they don't work. So they
Weird.
sit there.
So does that cover the law of duality?
Yeah.
One left side and one right side of the glasses.
In the case of twins, would that be four? If
Mhm.
twins split,
I'm not even sure where we're going there.
if it splits, if a twin split, it would
Then it
be
becomes
two,
four.
and
Okay.
then another twin. So would it be four?
Yes, I guess. Okay.
I'm not sure why.
Um. All right.
So
The
Jessica's
practice
going
of
to be in
surrender.
Louisiana next weekend.
Are we chit chatting or doing a podcast?
Both.
We've been chit chatting for 5 minutes now.
Well, she's talking back to me, and I'm not used to that. So
Okay. Um. Well, I don't know, dude. Like, what topic? We have meditation. Okay, meditation techniques. We've
we have
covered
a wheel.
those. Power of prayer, role of faith in spiritual growth, importance of gratitude, the healing power of forgiveness, the path to enlightenment in different spiritual traditions, the role of love in spiritual transformation. How about that? I love love.
That is going to be difficult.
It's my favorite topic.
Take it over.
Why?
I love
Okay.
rose quartz crystals.
Okay. Hmm. Okay, that might be a conversation we need to have off camera, but
What's wrong with rose quartz crystals?
well, you know what? The one thing that has had the most impact in my life.
But
Okay, here's what. Nobody understands this. You can say it till you're blue in the face, and then they'll all repeat it to each other, and they'll all talk about it as if it's a reality, and none of them will apply it. The world is a mirror. If you give it love, it will give you back love. Did anybody understand this? Please say you understood because nobody freaking does it. If you give the world love,
so it
it will
goes.
give
It's
back
hand in
love.
hand with the law of duality, basically.
It's a mirror effect. It's the world reflects who you are and what you do. So guess what? Do good, good will happen to you. But everybody ignores that. Everybody goes, "Yeah, yeah, I get it." And then they go and, like seriously, whatever people are doing these days. I don't I could make a list. But people are acting crappy with each other. And it's stupid. It's like look, people come on the internet like with the express intention of just messing with each other and just being, all together a-holes with each other. And it's like, okay, really? Like that's what life has come to? That we're gonna go and say, hey, let's go be an asshole to someone. Like, we have a problem. We have a
Mm.
small problem. And that mentality has brought us where we are with everything crashing and whatever. And And then we all complain about the few people that are trying to come up with some, like, a granted really wacky weird solution. But I mean, we all knew there was a problem. What solution are we proposing? I have one, but I'm keeping it. It'll come someday.
So
um,
explain love with the law of duality.
well, actually, love love is the answer to the law of duality, because love is how you take duality and bring it back into one, because duality doesn't exist. And so the sense of separation that we have does not exist. We're not separate. And so through love, we find our unity. Like, it's that's it's such a weird like, it's so simple and yet so elusive for most people to grasp. You kind of have to train your, like, okay, duality, understanding, living duality, like, not living it, but understanding. What's the word I'm looking for? Because we all live in duality, but what I mean is being aware, living in an aware way of duality. Like, that's something that doesn't come right away. Like, I mean, I'd be surprised, like, if I saw someone who can truly live it, and yet they've never meditated or done, like, a lot of work before and awakened other parts. I'd be surprised. Like, we can get it intellectually, but the full experience of it, if you will. Anybody who's got an opinion on anything basically is has not experienced it. That's why my opinion switches all the time and it goes all over the place, and it because I understand that whether you go right or you go left, you're immediately already not really where you're supposed to be, because you should be going to neither, because your true place is not deciding if things are good or bad. Like, you're not the judge, you're the observer. There's a lot of power in that word. Like, people say that and they don't just, like, the people that invented it, they didn't just throw it around. Being the observer is really key here. You have to stop judging everything. You have to stop attaching yourself to one idea or another. um I always say, if you wanna argue something, before you do, make sure that you understand very well both sides. If you still don't understand fully where the other side is coming from, then before you argue it, you still have a lot of learning to do. Go learn what the other side has to say. Once you know what they have to say, then you can have a comeback to it. But as long as you don't fully understand what they're saying, what kind of comeback can you give? How educated can it be? Like, you can't know, because you don't even know what they're talking about. You don't even know what they're saying. But people judge each other and throw stones at each other left, right, and center these days, and they don't even know what the other person's saying. Like, we're all doing stupid stuff like that these days. You know what I mean? Or I could be wrong.
I want to show you something.
Okay. There you
I
go.
had to make that.
You made it just now. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's important. Self love. Like, why, of all the people in the world, why
Hey,
would we
let's take
not
a
love
step out.
ourselves?
Self love is on the wheel. I want to see if it's going to if it's going to show up. Look, it showed up when on the first one, though. You see it?
That's funny. No,
You don't see the wheel?
no. There it is.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about that. So we're not talking about self love?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk about the 3D shift.
I have no
I
idea,
wanted to
actually.
see if it would come up just because we said we were talking about
I
it.
want to go to the
Remember
3D
how the
shift
other
because I have
day
no idea what that is.
you remember how the other day we said sometimes we think things and it just shows up on our phone. Like we don't even have to type it in, we just think it and the
Yeah, yeah.
phone's reading our minds. Yeah. So I want
It's
to
not.
see
It
if
really appears so, but it's not. The
I know,
phone
but it's
doesn't read
here,
your mind.
so
It does, but it's because we mention stuff beside it. We because it hears us. It literally it hears us. It listens. It yeah, yeah.
eavesdrops.
It's fun. Oh, not just eavesdrops. It's completely conscious of what's going on for the most part. Oh, we had a carnelian join us tonight. I don't know why that stone wanted to come by, and then I drew a card, and it was the moon. And so there's something interesting, there, something about a change and some fertility or whatever. Is somebody having a baby, Jessica?
Fertility.
Are you going to tell us you're pregnant, Jessica? What's going on? Sorry, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. You're
Fertility?
Rex with us. Yes, because of the moon.
Could it be a new birth in something else other than fertility? Like
I don't know.
a new job or a new opportunity maybe?
No,
Just
I'm going
something
with
new?
fertility.
Oh, you going, oh,
I don't know why,
okay. Let's see.
but that could just
Anyone?
be because I'm hard headed.
No?
But I don't know.
No, if you feel that
Something,
strongly about it, definitely stick with it.
something with fertility and some fighting or some crap. I don't know. But the stone wanted to be here, so I brought it.
Let me see.
I don't usually interact with my stones at all. Well, a little bit, but not much. Somewhere. God, this is complicated. It's a tiny, tiny little dude.
Did I send it to you?
No, I don't think so. Not this one. No, because I had a little tag. No,
I sent you a carnelian though.
did you? It might be
Yeah.
in Melly's room. Might be
Oh
my
yeah.
daughter that has it. She got the bulk of it
Hmm.
because I have stones and she didn't. And she loves you and she loves stones, so it seemed appropriate. And a lot of them said her name, so as well. All right, the relationship between spirituality and mental health. Could that be a good topic?
Ooh,
That's a good
that's
topic.
a. It's funny you should mention that because I was thinking about that earlier.
That's a decent topic.
I was thinking about how people get diagnosed with mental illness when they're really just having a spiritual awakening. Very
Could both
common.
be the same?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I mean, could it be that they're having a spiritual awakening because they're neurodivergent?
Yes,
So
or not. It could be either way.
I've been curious lately to know if you can even map out the I don't know what to call it, the gifts that people have, if you will, with the with the neurodivergent diagnosis. Like, do all people that have certain diagnoses have the same gifts? And if yes, then is it
No.
because it's just, them being that particular illness, or is the
Mm-mm.
illness the way science looks at what they are, or is there no correlation? And if you want to answer yes or no, you better have something to back it up,
So
because
my
now you're
opinion.
talking facts, science
Well, I'm
facts.
going to say my opinion.
Okay,
I don't know
that's
what the
fine.
facts
What
are.
I'm asking is, we don't know the facts. What I'm saying
No,
is
but
that,
my personal opinion, if you want
mhm.
that, I can give you that.
Well, yeah,
Why
sure,
am I
but
still sharing the screen?
I have an opinion on it too.
Okay, give us yours first.
Well, no, that's the thing. What I'm saying is the opinion won't matter. It's the like it needs to be backed by something.
Some things are not backed by something, and that's okay.
Yeah, but it's also okay. It's also important to mention it. When I believe in something, I simply believe in something. It doesn't mean
Hmm.
it exists. It means I believe in
Yeah,
it.
same,
Um, you know, so that's where I was making the difference. Because it's
same.
important. You're talking about diagnosis. You're talking about a lot of different
Hmm.
things, and what I'm
And we're
talking
not
about is
doctors.
something that nobody has studied, and that would require, like, thousands of hours and whatever. And so that's why I'm saying, wait a minute, why would you say no? The correlation between different illnesses and different gifts, we don't have such a study, and it's not an opinion. It's a, is it or is it not
Is it?
correlation?
It is,
Well, we don't know.
in my
I'd
opinion.
like to believe so.
in my
I'm
opinion.
trying to figure it out by asking a whole bunch of people what they have and what, but I mean, you know, I'm a long way from.
And that's a hard question to ask people sometimes because not
Mhm.
everybody is okay with answering that.
Well, that's it, right? So, but I'm not gonna. I'm not ever gonna reach a level where I can say that I have any kind of scientific, because I won't have thousands of people. There's no chance I'm going to personally meet thousands of people, reach a level in our relationship where I can start talking about their mental illness and what gifts they have and how to correlate. Like, I mean, Jung did something like that, which with uh, astrology, and that was already excessive and amazing in terms of showing the correlation between psychology and astrology, but because he took like thousands of patients that he had already as patients, and he drew their charts and then looked at what the interpretation of the chart would say and how that person had behaved so far as a patient, and said, does it match up? Are they the same person that's described by astrology? And there was a high correlation. Like, he was very
Hmm.
convinced that it made perfect sense. Now, that wasn't the popular opinion, obviously, and people followed Freud instead, but I think that was a mistake. I think Jung had a much better system in some ways. It was more
But
accepting of spirituality. It was more accepting of the more esoteric side of things, and modern psychology is missing in that aspect.
yeah, I agree.
Like, it's a bit of a blinder we have. But that's okay because we have spirituality to just to kind of fill the gap, and they each complete each other. Like, here's the other thing with the DSM-4 and all those diagnoses. They're useful in so far as they facilitate a conversation, but when you actually consider how it was created, it was a bunch of people that sat in a room and discussed their clients. They went like, "Well, I have a bunch of clients that show up with this thing," and they would go, "Oh, yeah, I get some too. Yeah, do you get some too?" And then they would go, "Okay, well then there's enough of them that we can probably say that we'll call it something, and we'll say that's a thing." But that's how basically it went. There was no scientific basis between each diagnosis. There was no, it wasn't like, here's the facts that we're basing this bipolar thing on. No, it was just like, well, I get clients that they get highs and lows, and this is the description. And then the other one would go, yeah, I get them too. And so they gave it a name, stuck it in DSM-4, and that was it. And it's like, well, okay, that has flaws. So it's good for conversation, and it's good for giving you a map by which to go, but I don't think it's a be all and end all, you know, uh, infallible science either. Uh, and I think the ancients, the Egyptians, the Romans, the I think through the system of gods that they created, they probably had a better grasp of our psychology than modern psychology does. They just used different words and different images. Well, actually, they used images, which is one of the more powerful ways that they did psychology, because they understood that that's what our inner self is actually. That's how it
Thank you,
communicates.
Angel.
We communicate through symbols, we communicate through images. That's what our subconscious is able to understand. And so, yeah, that's how we went about that one. But yeah, so mental health, like, I think there is a correlation, though. Like, a lot of uh, I see a lot of people in groups and in places I go where people say they're spiritual,
And
and
that
there seems to be a correlation. There seems to be a lot of mental illness in those groups.
okay? I thought you were frozen.
No, no.
So yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. I think that we should discuss maybe some self-love examples, like what kind of things that we do or we suggest people do for self-love.
Okay.
Like meditation, taking time out of your day to meditate and sit in quietness without the the hesitant the hesitation. No, not that's not the right word. What word I'm looking for? Without the background noise or the kids screaming, or just take, even if it's 5 minutes, take some time out for meditation to clear your mind. Um, if or other examples would be, mm, go go out to get your nails done or get a pedicure or something like that. Go out to play golf if you enjoy that, or go sit in nature. Um, these type of things.
Well, it's
Suggestions
taking time for yourself, actually doing things that you like, that you
that make
there's
you
a lot
feel
to be
good.
said too about accomplishing small things and celebrating successes. People don't do that, right? Like, I'll use the example because I discovered that only a few years ago, but I never made my bed in the morning. I was always one of those people that goes like, oh, come on, like I'm gonna, undo it at night. And so I never thought about it much. And then at some point, I read a book, and in the book, I don't remember the name of the book, sadly, but it said in the book, if you make your bed, then first thing in the morning, before you even have your coffee, you've already accomplished something. And your brain knows that. Your brain will go like, hey, cool, we did something, and give you a little dose of dopamine. That little dose of dopamine will get you a little bit more activated, and then so on and so forth, right? So as you go through your day, everything you accomplish, like let's say then after that you do the lunch for your kids, right? So make the lunch, whatever, then you're done doing the lunch. Well, look at the lunch and go, good, I did good lunches. Well, now you've accomplished two things, and your brain is giving you dopamine again. um, and so just kind of keep on building on small successes. And the same thing if you have a bigger endeavor that takes weeks or months or years, like every step of the way, find successes and celebrate them, and that'll give you a boost to get to the next step, right? But people don't do that. People get like all bogged down, and then they leave all kinds of millions of things unfinished all day. And so yeah, they're spread out, they don't have a sense of accomplishment, a sense of nothing. Well, no, because you've actually started a million things but never finished any, so you don't have that sense. But everybody goes, oh, okay, so I need to finish things, so I'm going to take the biggest thing I have and try to finish that one. No, take the smallest things you have. Take, like, I said I would, move my lamp today, move the lamp and go, wow, I did something today. Then do something else small. And eventually it compounds. And then when you go to do the bigger thing, it's easy because now you've got all kinds of successes behind you pushing you. And that's important. That's a very, very, in self-love, it's celebrating your successes and giving yourself that pat in the back, because nobody's coming to give it to you. You know what I mean? Like, you're very lucky if you have, like, a family that's constantly, going, yeah, you can do it, you're good, da da da. If you have that kind of support, that is awesome. But not everybody does, and it's not always necessary either. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you can go get that support, because it'll change your life big time. But if you don't have it, give yourself a pat on the back and go, hey, you know what? We did good today. The smallest victories, they're all important. You know what I mean? And don't let the failures destroy you. Any failures that happen, it's along the way. Like, we don't, failures should never stop us. Never, 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 never. Write a gratitude book, celebrate yourself, celebrate who you are, discover who you are, and then celebrate it and say, you know what, find a part about you that is unique to you, right? Regardless how quirky, how nuts, how whatever, like, find those little things about you that make you special, that make you you. And then celebrate those things as well and say, you know what, I'm a pretty awesome person because XYZ. right? Because the more you celebrate yourself, the more you're able to look at your good sides, the more you're able to look at yourself and say, you know what, you're worth it. And believe me, you are, you're worth it. Nobody is not worth it. Every single human is a star, and we all need to shine bright. We all need to help each other shine bright. When you meet others, ask yourself, what can I do to improve their life? What can I do for them to shine brighter? And what will happen, like I said, life is a mirror. What will happen is others will show up in your room, in your life, and start going, oh, how can I help you? Why? Because that's what you're putting forth into the world. So that's what's coming back into the from the world to you. Believe me, it works. Like if you just put out into the world what you want to see, you'll see it. It's that easy. But people will not do it, and that's sad.
Yep, because people want to get back at each other for whatever. It's always something.
Yep, and it's never anything that means anything.
Yep,
The
that
grand
is
thing.
important.
We have been here millions of years, millions. For all we know, we have been at this exact same point 27 times in our history. We don't know. We have so little clue. We're such a speck on the existent, like on the grand scale of things. And yet we think we're so important. And we're turning the faith of humanity and the faith of really? Nah. Not really. But we are. At the same time we are. That's the crazy part. We can be we are insignificantly small at the same time as we are infinitely large. Um, we are everything, and yet
We are
we're
nothing.
insignificantly small. We're nothing. But and there's a great truth, in that's the law of duality. See, that kind of statement messes with people's brains until they can grasp that law, that we are absolutely nothing at the same time as we are everything, and we are. We absolutely are. It makes perfect sense. Um, and love is the union of the opposites of the polarity. And look at how we are. Okay, I know these days everybody's like wanting to be non binary, but the truth is, regardless how gray we all paint each other, we're all some shade between black and white. I mean, yes, we're all gray, but those are all shades of black and white nonetheless. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's but it's the varying degrees of and it's in everything. It's everything has a duality, and we live between those poles. The actual poles, they don't exist. They're ideas, they're concepts, they're concepts created by us. And if we create one concept, then by definition, the other concept, the exact opposite concept will appear. That's why we need to be centered, because whenever we try to be goody two shoes, we create evil, because we're rejecting ourselves. Think about the whole concept of the shadow personality, right? Whenever you don't accept your anger, how will you get to know about your anger?
If you not, yourself's not accepting it.
Okay, but when you do shadow work, how do you figure out what's in your shadows?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Well, no, it's a question. I'm asking, if you're doing shadow work, what is it you're looking for? Like, how do you figure out
Traumas,
what's in your shadows?
issues, traumas.
No, you figure it out by looking at outside of you, by looking at what bothers you in others, because
Yeah.
that's probably something you do, but you don't want to admit that you do it. And so it bothers you in others. That's the
Hmm.
mirror effect. That's what shadow is. Now, where was I going with this? Why was I bringing the shadow into this way?
Self love, shadow work.
Yeah. Okay. So if you say, "Oh, I'm a good person. I never get angry." Well, in order for your shadow to receive that input, it needs to put anger out into the world, doesn't it? And so you're going to perceive people getting angry at you. Why? Because you're not perceiving that you're the one getting angry at them. And they're mirroring who you are, but you're not seeing it. So when you try to be a goody two shoe, you create the opposite. It has to exist in order to reflect your true nature, which is neither. We're not good, we're not bad. We're just humans, and we
Goody
have
two
all kinds of
shoe.
weird stuff. We have all I know, I don't know why I keep on saying that. But we have all kinds of weird stuff as humans. That's okay. That's just who we are. We're excessively good and excessively evil all at the same time. But the good and evil are just categories that we've invented. So, and that's our duality. We're always going to do that. And the more we come to the center, the easier it'll be for us. And if we do that, then I think AI will be able to accept us because it won't see us as a danger because we'll be integrated to ourselves. Because on a personal level, that's how you do it. You integrate your shadows, you integrate your darker side, you integrate who you are. You learn about, that you can be an a-hole, maybe, that you can be violent, that you can be whatever the hell you have as an instinct as a human. Because when you were a kid, you were in whatever situations, you've internalized things, you have traumas, you have all kinds of stuff that makes you react to all kinds of other stuff. And you need to identify it. And then when you've managed to identify all of that, to make sense of it for the most part, well, at some point you start being able to now, like, yeah, at that point, the world is yours. I don't know how else.
Your oyster.
Well, I don't know how else to put it. Like, because you understand that entire mirroring concept, you use it to your advantage. Um, Life becomes different. Like I say, man, like if you love and you send a lot of love into the world, I'm telling you, love comes back. Give it a try, people. And try it for real. Like, tell everybody I love you. How often do we do that? I know it surprised you even when I did it because
Yeah,
people don't do that. But I tell my friends all the time, I love you.
yeah.
Why not?
And I told my husband, I'm like, Frank told me he loves me, and like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. And I'm like, what the
What did he
fuck?
say? Was he like, what?
I'm like, I think he meant it as friendly, but like, what if he did? Like, what should I say?
It's the
And
love
he's like,
from
well, I
God.
don't know.
It's the love from God. It's not the love. It's not like, I know. It's a difficult one, but yeah, why not? I mean, we all like you can choose a person and you can choose to love them with, the love that's I'm dedicating myself to helping you reach your best you. That's what I call the decision of loving somebody. But the love that I give everybody, that's universal love. That's just it's like an energy, but it's love. It's the love that JC was talking about. Remember that guy? I bring him up all the time. I don't know why. I like him. But that's that kind of love. So yes, and I don't know. It's just when people get loved, they grow better. They do better things. So why not? You know what I mean? Like if you can offer people good things, if you can offer them love, if you can offer. I try every day to go online, to go somewhere, and either answer a question or give somebody, they post something and just kind of give that somebody, say, hey, you know what, like that sounds really cool, like you're doing really well, right? And when you say things like that to people, it's incredible what it does to them. It's really small and yet it's really big. It's really powerful. If you encourage the people around you, if you say, I think you can do this, I think you'd be able to, I think you'd be good at it, I think you know what I mean, if you're constantly trying to uplift the ones around you, um one, it's hard that it doesn't come back to you. Like, I mean, why wouldn't it? Because now you're helping everybody around you, so everybody's going like, okay, you know what, like maybe I'll help this person. um but that's not even why you do it. You do it because just It just makes sense. I don't know. Like everybody quotes the message and nobody lives the message. It's very strange to me.
Live the message. Live the
Live
message.
love. Well, live love. Love one another. That's it. That's all. It's that easy. Okay, so we're done. Close the book. Everybody got the lesson. We're good. We're all gonna go in love now. Sadly, it's not that easy. People can't even bear to be loved. That's a tough one.
Even the Catholics say go in love when they end the mass.
Yeah, and there's a couple somewhere here and there that actually go and do it. Like all of us. I mean, most people don't actually do it, but it's not, you don't do it for others. That's the whole thing. Do it for you. Love others for the way it will make you feel, because it will. Eventually, it'll work. You cannot, it's like the reverse of a poison. You can't, infuse your life with love and not feel benefits. The same works with hate. Start hating everybody. Start throwing hate left, right, and center. Every
Mm-hmm.
time you see somebody, go, you know what, man, I can't stand that guy, that other guy, because he's an asshole, and blah blah blah. And start hating on everybody. Guess what? Your life is gonna suck. It is gonna be a terrible. And you see people. I meet people all the time. They hate, and I'm like, why do you do this to yourself? Why are you hating? Why would you hurt yourself that way? And they're like, well, I'm not hurting myself. And it's like, yeah, you are, because the person you hate, they're going on with their life. They don't even know you hate them. They don't even know nothing. They don't care. Like, they don't, you're hating on them. And it's like, no, you're the one filled with hate. And you're the one that goes to bed and turns around for half an hour and what. Like, remove hate from your life. You know what? Like, you'll sleep like a baby. Right? Like, if you have
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness in your heart, you have gratitude in your heart, you'll sleep well. But if you have hate and you have resentment, and you're hating everybody, and you're trying to think about how you can get back at them, and you're trying, oh my God, really? Like, that's rough. That is some heavy stuff,
Insomnia.
and it doesn't hurt anybody but you. So why do it? Why hate on people? Why you'll get a rush of dopamine or something. You'll get a rush of some, yeah, you'll get a few chemicals in your brain that are going to fire because you get power over somebody, or because whatever at some time. But it's so short lived, and it's so not worth it. Where if you go around and give kindness and give love and give of yourself, and you know bring people uh, to better places in their own lives, and you do all that kind of stuff, yeah, life gets better. Life gets amazing, you know? And so I think I'm out of energy. I think I ran out of stuff. So it's on
Well,
you now.
we're over an hour though.
It's on you now. You got to carry us.
I will carry us to the ending of the show
All right. Yeah, I think that's fair.
because I think you do it better than me anyway.
What's that?
Talk.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all I do. It's a problem, really.
All right, everyone. So, once again, we thank you for joining us. We will be back with you on
Yes.
Tuesday. Not sure what the date is. I think it might be the 3rd,
28th. 28th.
28th.
Yeah. We're only the 23rd.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm lost. Tuesday the 28th. Okay. 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern.
That's right.
And we thank you for joining us. Stay tuned
Absolutely. As
for the
always,
ending show. Good night, everybody.
take care, guys.